On March 19, 2004, 17-year-old Brianna Maitland leaves the restaurant where she works after a long shift. She tells her colleagues that she wants to go home to rest for her second job the next morning, but she never arrives. The next day, her car is discovered a mile from the restaurant, backed up against an abandoned barn, rear tires in the air, driver's door unlocked. Inside, Brianna's personal belongings are scattered about. What initially looks like an accident and a voluntary disappearance to the police leads investigators into the dark abyss of the country over the next few months, which should remain hidden forever. Brianna Maitland was born on October 8, 1986, in Burlington, Vermont. She grew up with her older brother Waylon on her family's remote farm in East Franklin, near the Canadian border. She loved nature, enjoyed reading, and spent a lot of time with her friends. Jiu-jitsu was also one of her hobbies. Nevertheless, she became increasingly bothered by the isolation in Franklin. Changing schools only exacerbates her feelings of alienation. Shortly before her 17th birthday, Brianna decides to move out of her parents' house to become more independent. In February 2004, she moves to Sheldon, about 40 minutes from her hometown. At first, she sleeps on friends' couches until her best friend, Jillian Stout, offers her a room in her apartment. Brianna works hard to live independently. She works in the kitchen and as a waitress at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery. She also works at the St. Albans Diner. She is considered responsible and ambitious. On March 19, 2004, she passes her GED test, which is like a high school diploma, and thinks about going to college. On February 27, 2004, Brianna is brutally attacked at a party by 17-year-old Kayla LaCrosse. She's sitting in a friend's car when Kayla knocks on the window. When Brianna rolled down the window, Kayla began punching her repeatedly in the face. Other guests intervened, but Brianna suffered significant injuries: 2 black eyes, a broken nose, and a concussion. The reason for the attack was apparently jealousy, as Brianna had previously been talking to Kayla's boyfriend. 3 days later, Brianna files a complaint for assault. But before charges can be brought, she disappears without a trace. At noon on March 19, 2004, Brianna meets up with her mother, Kelly. She is in a good mood, talking about college and passing her exam. While shopping, she initially seems carefree. At the checkout, she suddenly looks out the window and appears tense. She asks her mother to go ahead without her. When they meet again in the parking lot, Brianna is changed. On the way home, she hardly speaks, trembles, and seems anxious. She does not respond to questions. At around 3:30 p.m., her mother drops her off at her apartment. Her roommate Jillian is out. Brianna takes a shower and gets ready for work. She leaves a note for Jillian saying that she has the late shift and will come home straight after work. Her colleagues describe her as completely normal that day. There is no indication that she is worried or frightened. Her shift ends around 11 p.m. Her colleagues ask her if she would like to join them for dinner, but she declines, saying she has to get up early and is tired. 3 colleagues see her drive off alone shortly before 11:30 p.m. The next morning, motorists report an abandoned vehicle on Route 118. It is in front of the old Dutchburn house, an abandoned barn. The car, a light green Oldsmobile sedan, is backed up against the wall of the building, its rear wheels in the air. It is Brianna's car. Several personal items are inside the car and in front of it. The police initially assumed that she had an accident and was driving drunk. Without further investigation, they tow the car away. At St. Albans Diner, no one thinks anything of it when Brianna doesn't show up for work the next day. Jillian, her roommate, is spending the weekend with her boyfriend. It is not until Monday that she notices Brianna is missing. The note is still in its place. The bed is unused. She immediately informs Brianna's parents. Bruce Maitland begins the search immediately, but does not initially suspect foul play. On Tuesday, Kelly reports her daughter missing. A police officer recognizes her immediately. She had found the car on Saturday morning. The family is horrified. The car was registered to Kelly, yet no one had informed her. The police begin to reconstruct Brianna's last movements. The journey from the Black Lantern Inn to where her car was found takes only about 5 minutes. What happened during this short stretch remains unclear. Perhaps she noticed something that made her stop, or maybe she had an appointment there. Investigators talk to friends. The attack by Kayla Lacrosse becomes known, but it is assumed that it has nothing to do with the disappearance. Other acquaintances report that Brianna had said several times that she wanted to move to a bigger city. The police are therefore also investigating a voluntary disappearance, but consider this unlikely given the personal belongings she left behind. The police offer a reward of $20,000. Nevertheless, there are no leads. It is not until March 30th, 11 days after her disappearance, that forensic investigators examine the car. No signs of a struggle are found, but a trace is discovered that is not further explained. There is speculation that it could be DNA. The items found around the car cannot be identified. The police use sniffer dogs, but are unable to secure any further evidence. In early May 2004, Fred Murray, the father of Maura Murray, who has also disappeared, contacts Brianna's family. Maura disappeared under very similar circumstances. Both disappeared at night, both left their cars behind, and both cases occurred only about 100 miles apart. The police investigate this theory, but later officially reject it. 2 months later, the Class Kids Foundation offers its support. About 500 volunteers comb the area around the location where her car was found for a week. However, the search is also unsuccessful. In the wake of increased media attention, witnesses come forward for the first time who claim to have seen Brianna's car on the night of March 19th to 20th. One man claims to have seen the vehicle in front of the barn between 11 p.m. and midnight with its lights on. A second witness reports seeing the car there at 12:30 a.m. with its lights off. A third witness reports driving past the car at around 4 a.m. He said he saw no one in or around the vehicle. Despite these clues, investigators have no concrete leads. Finally, an anonymous caller contacts the police. According to the caller, she was kidnapped on the night of her disappearance and taken to the town of Berkshire, about 20 minutes away. There, she was held captive by 2 men for a week and eventually murdered. The names of the alleged perpetrators were Raymond Raines and Nathaniel Charles Jackson. Both were known drug dealers from New York who were staying in a house in Berkshire at the time. The police followed up on the tip. Both men were found at the address in question and taken to the police station. The house was searched. Investigators found a large quantity of cocaine. However, there is no trace of Brianna. Even cadaver dogs are unable to locate her. It can be confirmed that Brianna knew both men. They were well known in the area, and many young people had contact with them. However, it remains unclear whether Brianna herself was a user or involved in their circles. There is no evidence of her presence in the house or any direct connection to the scene. 8 months after Brianna's disappearance, a woman contacts the police. She claims to have heard from Raymond Raines and Nathaniel Charles Jackson that Brianna was murdered after an argument over money. Allegedly, the 2 men first held her captive in a basement for a week before disposing of her body on a pig farm. The woman offers to make a sworn statement, but withdraws it when she is unable to provide specific location details. The investigation, once again, leads nowhere. 2 years after the disappearance, the police obtain video footage from Caesars Palace Casino in Atlantic City. The footage shows a young woman who bears a striking resemblance to Brianna Maitland. She is accompanied by a man. Brianna's parents recognize the similarity, but the footage is blurry. The identities of the woman and the man can never be determined. In 2022, the police announced that they are reopening the investigation. 11 people are considered persons of interest. Their DNA is compared with the evidence found in the car, but the results are never published. On the 20th anniversary of her disappearance, in March 2024, the FBI increases the reward for information leading to the discovery of Brianna Maitland to $40,000. The police emphasize that the case is not a so-called cold case, but that they are still actively investigating. Brianna's father, Bruce, establishes his own foundation to support families of missing persons. He works with former police officers and is actively involved in the investigation. Despite all efforts, it remains unclear what happened on the night of March 19, 2004. Brianna remains missing to this day, and there are no clear clues as to her whereabouts. Her parents continue to hope that their daughter's disappearance will one day be solved. And that brings us to the end of today's video. What do you think happened to Brianna? Feel free to write your opinion in the comments. By doing so, you'll also be supporting this channel. If a video receives a lot of interaction shortly after being uploaded, it's more likely to be recommended to people who haven't subscribed to Insolito yet. If you want to support me even more, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Have a nice morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching the video. See you again for the next case. Until then, ciao everyone.